welcome to the third and final review of the week. So it's January, and that means it's a slow time in the video games industry. And that also means that the code flow is a bit lower than usual. So occasionally we will fill those gaps with free games. And, this is not the only week we're doing this. But anyway, what we got here is a game called Kirchhoff's Revenge. And you might be wondering who the hell is Kirchhoff and why does he
He's
want...
that guy whose picture's on the wall.
Yeah. Well, I mean, outside of that. And, to be very brief, because what the actual Gustav Kirchhoff did is well beyond the purview of this show. He was a German physicist who was really influential in a bunch of disciplines. The most relevant to this game is electrical circuits. Indeed, this game is basically turned him into GLaDOS. I'm not even joking about that. Like, it's basically... What if Portal, but if teaching you the basics of electrical engineering?
Yes, you do not appreciate electrical circuitry enough, therefore he will fucking kidnap people and randomly make them solve electrical circuitry puzzles.
Yeah, and he's very rude to you.
Yep.
Like, seriously,
about your intelligence involving light and whatnot.
Right up into the end of the game, where you get an award in in stunning mediocrity or something like that. Which is an upgrade to you're a fucking idiot and you don't understand anything.
Are you telling me that you don't actually get the Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte? Is the Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte a lie?
In this game, maybe, but we're not worried about
Black Forest cherry cake.
Yeah. I got that. But I mean, Portal's the obvious reference, but if this game reminded me of anything, it was I'm not sure if anyone else has played this, Quantum Conundrum. Because
I think I recall it being mentioned at some point.
But that's more because you had John Delancey as the voice, and though he was a lot, and he was a science of dubious discipline, although the setup is really kind of both of those, because you not only got Kirchhoff, but you got a female robot voice assistant for some reason. It's not entirely clear when this game takes
because mad scientists build female voice computer assistants.
You might be right there.
Surprised.
Well, it kind of throws off the aesthetic of the game because, it's very steampunky.
I don't know. The whole thing seems very chronologically confused.
Well, yeah. Like, Kirchhoff is alive. And, he's a 19th century German physicist. So... you really couldn't help but do that. But, it's like I said, it looks anachronistic. Right down to how you solve the puzzles. And, you do that by inserting glass tubes Tetris style. And
because while circuitry has some things in common with plumbing, plumbing puzzles that are just blatantly plumbing are a lot easier to solve.
And since this game was developed by the University of Michigan, a professor over there, this game, it is endeavoring to actually teach you about electrical engineering. And, according to the Steam page, this game actually has been featured in high school and introductory college courses, which is about where I'd place it in terms of what it aims to teach you.
Petty Fan, are you just staring at a wall, or did the thing freeze? Okay.
I was frozen for a second. The game isn't totally optimized.
No, it's not. I was just checking.
No. It's like, in technical terms, this game is fairly janky. And
janky. The janky is definitely the technical. So here's the thing.
Mhm.
The palming pieces, you pick them up, and then you pick them up with one button, and then you have, when they're picked up, you have 6 degrees or axes of freedom rotation for them.
Mhm.
But the button you use to pick them up is a little awkward. It really feels like you should be clicking for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a bit of an odd duck there, because this is almost controlled entirely with the keyboard, but you look around with the mouse.
Yeah.
But
And then
mouse-
they snap together really aggressively when you're
Yes.
close sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
And also you kind of have to rotate them once to get them like into alignment with the puzzle sometimes.
mhm. Yeah, it can be a bit finicky, but nothing you can't overcome.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the terms of the actual puzzles, this was a weird one because I felt that the opening puzzles had more freedom than the later ones. The later ones teach you how to deal with things like capacitors, which charge up, and God, I'm trying to remember the other pipe piece. Yeah, it's
Resistor.
the what now?
Resistor.
No, it wasn't called a resistor. Like, you'd think it would be that, but it was
Do you remember what it does?
it was all coiled up, and it's
An
like
inductor?
it restricted the flow of the electrons. Like,
Transistor is too advanced for this.
yeah, I'm like, I can't remember offhand.
I mean, I think you're pretty much describing a resistor one way or the other.
Yeah, and they also had another puzzle piece that it's the first irregular piece that you get, like an altimeter. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't remember offhand what they called the piece. Is just, that's the one that measured the voltage.
Mm.
Yeah. But you do learn about open, closed circuits, how power flows. Like the very first puzzle, you have to build the pipes at a certain length, or else like, if you do it too small, it's going to be too powerful, and the whole thing explodes. Whereas, like, the later puzzles are less concerned about building the actual circuits and teaching you how to deal with the more advanced puzzle pieces, and like that that never went away. It's like they never had like an ultimate puzzle where you put together a circuit with all of the advanced pieces together. And I can't exactly say that was a missed opportunity, because the intent of this game isn't fun with puzzles. This is actually a teaching tool.
Mm-hmm.
This is intended to teach you about the basics of circuit design and electricity, negative, how electrons flow, and all those kinds of things. And as far as its goal, adequate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say that I learned some stuff, but how much I'm going to retain is kind of hard. It's like, now if you're like somebody who's teaching, who's searching for to learn about circuitry, it's like, yeah, I would say this is a good entry point. As a puzzle game, it's all right, bit basic.
Yeah, I think the clunkiness of the core manipulating mechanic is kind of a significant flaw in a game where that isn't the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'd be harsher on that if this were a paid game.
Yeah.
Or if you had to deal with like action.
Mm.
But since it's a first-person puzzle game where all you do is pipe manipulation, it's surmountable. Now, in terms of graphics, like, I like the graphical aesthetic of the game. The actual graphics, okay, there's no other way to say it. This game looks fucking ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Like you can tell it's either assets or they just went for the most basic modeling possible.
yeah. Once again, that's fine since this is an educational teaching tool.
Right.
You know, um, you know, and it's like otherwise, this isn't a game that you're going to be downloading for its rich graphical components. Music, um, classical music, is like probably public domain stuff.
Yeah.
It's nice, forgettable but nice.
Oh, it's where is it? I think that because it's mentioning resistors in here, so I think that might have been what you were talking about.
Yeah, it might have been resistors. Like, wasn't and pricing. Well, once again, this is something we keep coming back to. This is a free game. You can, in terms of time investment, it'll take about, I'd say, 5-6 hours to get through. It's like, it'll save after each puzzle. And she's trying to remember. I think there was about 20 or so puzzles in the game. Maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. I wasn't really counting, but it wasn't a super long game, which once again makes sense. I'd imagine if you picked up the pace, you could be done with this in a few hours, maybe an hour, because once again, this is a thing that appeared in college courses and high school courses, so it'd have to be pretty snappy on the pacing. Like, this is probably a few weeks worth of lessons right here. But it's like this isn't the kind of thing that I could see like an entire semester around. Like it didn't seem to have that much going for it. But overall, as a game, slightly below average. As a teaching tool, pretty good. Any other thoughts on Kirchhoff's Revenge here?
It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, like I could have seen, playing this in my engineering class back in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's about it.
All right. So that'll about do it for this week's reviews. Yeah, tongue twisted there. Right. It happens. Anyway, so the week ahead. Let's see. On Wednesday, January 15th, we will be welcoming Sean Ellis and Brian Rivers of Iron City Games. They're the developers of a first-person / third-person sci-fi shooting game where you also terraform and has a crafting system. This is like the second one of these we featured this season. Just weird. Although the game looks much different than what we had, a bit earlier. But the game is called Gearstorm. Came out recently on early access. And they have confirmed. Just waiting to hear from them on the Skype. And hopefully we can get a code so Petty can showcase the game. So, no Friday show this week. So, yeah, that's about it. So, until Wednesday, I shall wish you good gaming.